Hi everyone, welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Bess McCarty here, broadcasting from beautiful downtown Victoria, Kansas. This is a very big town. There's 1,000 people that live in this little town, and it's like a Mayberry RFD. It's real fun here. I'd love to hear where you're watching from, and also if you're watching the replay, I'd like to please write that in so that I can thank you for watching. So today's the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show comes to you every Monday through Friday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, sponsored by the MLM Millionaire Academy, our generic school for network marketers that Jeffrey David Gamble and Brandy Pember and I present to you. So usually Jeff and Brandy are doing this show weekdays, but I come in on Wednesday and do this. And today, this month, the book that we're on is Failing Forward by John Maxwell. So this is about embracing failure, learning from it, and also turning it around, using it as a stepping stone. Today, the chapter is chapter 9, Get Over Yourself, Everyone Else Has. I figure there's always a message for me in the chapters that I end up presenting, so I'm taking a lesson from this. Hello, Jeff. Welcome. Thank you, Jeff, for sharing. Jeff is sharing every Wednesday, sharing the video over into the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group. Thank you for sharing over there. This is a group of nearly 600 MLM leaders, some of the best in the profession. We invite you to join there, get a free John Maxwell ebook, and scroll down and find 700 replays of our past MLM Lunchtime Leadership shows. This is a show where you can come on and get your personal growth done, and try to make it easy for you to get some of the top books that we are choosing to present to you, and make it easy for you to get your personal growth in, which is essential to success, isn't it? It's one of the 10 core commitments that we teach in the MLM Millionaire Academy, generic school for network marketers. Jeff and I are the primary teachers in there, and definitely we teach that personal growth is essential. The other 10 core commitments, we teach how to get started right, how to get your team self-sufficient without you, how to recruit the top earners into your company, how to find and recruit them into your company, how to always get a yes, how to never get a no, how to never get objections. When you're prospecting, the fastest way to get started and get your team to get started first. I'll post a link below, but if you want to check this out, it is at mlmmillionaireclub.com/basics. And we'd love to have you investigate that and maybe come on and enjoy a class or two. So welcome, Nancy. Good to see you. So this, I should invite people here while I am speaking, invite a few people to come in. And I invite you to do that as well if you know someone who can use some personal growth today, and who loves John Maxwell, and who would like to take the next step in failing forward, to embrace failure, to use that to one's advantage, and not to be crushed by it, not to be defined by it, but to use it to turn your business around, turn your experience around. Just as an example, who do you know that is successful, that you admire, that you would like to be like, who has never had failure? In fact, the more successful the person is, the more failure they have had. Who was the batter who said, the baseball batter who's had the most home runs, but also has had the most strikeouts? So they go hand in hand, right? We have to put up with that. In fact, we use that to grow. In fact, the more failures you have, congratulations. The more learning experiences you've had. And as Robert Kiyosaki says, if I learn the most making mistakes, let me make a lot of them. Let me not be afraid of them. Let me use them. Let me know that that's going to be part of it, and say, I expected this. Of course I'm failing. Of course I'm making a mistake. But I'm not a failure. I am not a mistake. I'm going to use this. I'm having a failure. I'm having a mistake. I made a mistake, and I'm going to use that as a stepping stone and learn. No big deal. That's expected. That's part of the thing. I knew that would happen, and I'm going to use it to my advantage. So I hope that that helps. And welcome, Leanne, and welcome, Marty. Glad to see ya. And thank you for people who are sharing with other people. I appreciate that. Because we can help more people, we can reach more people, make best use of this. So this is really cool, you guys. Okay, we're on John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, and we're on the chapter, Get Over Yourself. Everyone else has. To me, the message for me in this, welcome Shamala, dearie. Thank you, and thank you everybody for the likes and loves. Thank you for tagging people and sharing. So to me, this means if I'm sitting there worried, what does everybody think of me? Am I good enough? Am I doing okay? Do I make the grade? You know, am I okay? Am I okay? I'm sitting there thinking all this. Everybody else is maybe thinking the same thing, or they're thinking of something else. You know, maybe their attention is on what they're going to have for lunch or something while they're watching me speak, and they're not judging me. You know, I'm worried about them being judged or whatever. Am I doing okay in this group? Do I pass the grade? Do I make the grade? Do I pass people's inspection? They're thinking of someone else, you know? And it's like, well, that's a waste to worry about that when other people aren't. Or other people are worried about the same thing. Everybody's thinking, you know, what are they thinking of me? And I did an interview a little while back with Simon Chan that people like the title of it. And it's called Fear is Selfish. Fear is about me. I know, because I was a shy person. I had to get over that to be able to do network marketing. Then I had to go in full-time network marketing, end up, you know, training up in teams up and down the coast of California. I end up being a speaker, trainer, all this stuff, you know, and that's for a shy person, you know. And the way that I get over being shy is a tip that I got from a 17 magazine when I was a teenager and I was shy to talk to guys. And it said, you know, if you feel shy when you're talking to a boy, focus on him. Ask him questions about him. I thought, perfect. Takes the attention off me, puts it on him. You know, that's where I'm more comfortable anyway. So great. I can focus on other people, put the attention there, ask questions. Great. I feel good about that, feel comfortable about that. Same thing, and it's a network marketer. I focused on people. What's going on in their life? What do they need? What problem do they have that I can solve? And then when I did solve some problems in health, my network marketing company was a health company. When I did solve problems, then I took those stories and I carried them with me and I brought them to other people and I focused on the good that I could do for others. Because I realized fear is selfish. That's putting the attention on me. When my attention's on me, I cannot hear the messages that another person is sending. Right? I cannot hear them speaking. I cannot hear what's important to them because I'm all worried about what they're thinking of me. That clouds out really being of service to them. So I learned this, and I'm still learning this. That's the only way I can get up here and speak, you know, on a Facebook Live, is focusing on the good that people tell me that they get from these classes, from these shows. So get over yourself, everyone else has. Right? We're not that important. You know, get over our ego. And Barbara Ward says, don't get stuck inside your own ego because it will become a prison in no time flat. And guess what? It prevents us from moving forward too. It could prevent us from making our calls, from reaching out to new people, to doing new presentations, to being aware of the best way to train a team member or be there when a team member is floundering and needing help. If we're too busy thinking about ourselves, we'll miss all that stuff. John says, people who desire to fail forward must turn their attention from themselves toward helping others. You could call that getting over yourself. Then he talks about a movie. Have you heard of Mr. Holland's Opus? It was written by screenwriter Patrick Sheen Duncan, who one day was stuck in a traffic jam. And he got this idea. He heard a news report in the radio about the cutback in school programs, the number of teachers in the state of California. He suddenly realized how important his own teachers had been in his life. So he wrote this story about them. And Richard Dreyfuss played Mr. Holland. And what it was is he was a young musician who wanted to make it big time as a composer. But when he had a family and the money got tight and all that, he took a job as a teacher. I think a music teacher. And, he said, okay, this is just temporary. It's just temporary, right? And he was writing his symphony all this time. And the pivotal point comes when his teaching position is eliminated. Well, first of all, he discovers that he wants to share his love of music with the students, but in the process, he finds himself. And I think this went on for 20 years. And the pivotal point comes when his teaching position is eliminated because of cutbacks. And suddenly he reached, man, I've reached middle age. It's too late now to pull up everything and go to New York and take my symphony with me that I've been writing in my spare moments for these 20 years. And he feels real dejected and despondent because he thinks, well, I've been a failure. I didn't do my dream. But then he's, depressed and on the verge of bitterness, and he leaves his classroom for the last time. He ambles dejectedly down the hall, preparing to walk out of the school for the last time, when he hears something from the auditorium. He checks. He sees dozens and dozens of his past students whose lives he changed. That group, and I think they're in there. I don't know whether anyway. That group included even the governor of the state, whose life took a major turn for better under his mentoring. So it made a difference, right? A lot of teachers fill in gaps that parents aren't able to supply to their kids about lessons about life, about values, about discipline, about going for their dreams. Teachers fill this role a lot of times, and anyone can be a teacher. It can be anyone in any walk of life. Any ordinary person can make an impact on the lives of others. So perhaps he was even more fulfilled than if he had gone and had his symphony, when he was discovered in New York and became a composer. Perhaps this was even more fulfilling, and life has a way of directing us sometimes, right, unexpected, into our calling. And he found that this was his calling. And how did that feel, do you think, to encounter those students whose lives he had changed over 20 years? How do you think that felt? Would you like that feeling too? I would. And I've had tastes of it with people that I've coached over 30 years and counseled and taught. I was a head teacher at Body Mind College in San Diego for over 15 years and trained body mind therapists and coaches and teachers, and got a lot of satisfaction from how they say that their lives has changed as a result, my clients, students. So that's why I do what I do. And welcome, David. Thank you for everybody. I've got more to share here, but meanwhile, have you ever had the opportunity to help to change someone's life? Please type in yes. I'd like to acknowledge you for that. And if you have a story behind that you can share, or a little sentence, an example to let us know how that happened for you, I'd love to hear that. How you made an impact on someone's life. And someone said, wow, that meant a lot to me. And how that felt to you. I'd like to hear that. How did that feel? So that's what I'd like to hear below as an inspiration for me and for other people. Also, any takeaways, questions, tips, or comments that you have. So let's make this not, make this two-way where other people can learn from you too. And welcome, Janice. We're just talking about failing forward and getting over ourselves and making an impact on other people's lives, taking the attention off ourselves. And John Maxwell, in this book, Failing Forward, John Maxwell, we're on chapter 9, Get Over Yourself. And John Maxwell says, many people who struggle with chronic failure do so because they think of no one but themselves. They're continuously focusing on protecting their turf And it was John Maxwell's father who leaned over to him at an NFL game with San Diego with the Chargers. And he leaned over and he told him this corny joke. He goes, "John, did you hear about the guy who quit going to football games? Every time the team huddled up, he thought they were talking about him." Can't we relate to that a little bit? A little bit. So, I teach a process called Real Conversations with ourselves. It's like a self-help process, self-coaching process with ourselves, where we look at a uncomfortable feeling or challenge that we have, and then we discover the need underneath it. And John did that too here. He said, if I feel insecure, I'm missing belonging. Well, if I feel any of these things, insecure, inferior, inadequate, insignificant, I have felt that plenty. I think from my childhood when I was criticized or blamed or maybe given love, if I did things right. In other words, I started associating my worth with my behavior rather than something completely different. You are not, each of us is not our behavior. We are valuable just because we exist. Just because we are beautiful beings who exist. Our worth does not change according to our behavior. People's liking us might change according to our behavior, but our worth, our inherent value, is intact. And this is destroyed when you tell a child, you are bad, you broke this vase, you threw a baseball in the house, you broke this vase, you are bad. No, the child is not bad. The behavior was bad and needs to be changed. Throw that ball outside. But the child is not bad. And when the child hears, you're bad, he starts believing it. I am bad. And so we become, as John Maxwell says, insecure, inferior, inadequate, insignificant. And we worry because we all want love and acceptance. That's a major thing we want, right? Mr. Rogers said that all people crave to be accepted, to be known and accepted. So if we have all this stuff, what we're needing, John Maxwell says, this follows exactly our Real Conversations process, we're needing belonging, worth, competence, purpose. Okay, we need to know that we belong, we fit, we deserve to be there, and that we're worth love and acceptance, that we're worthy of being accepted. And we need to feel competent, like we're able to contribute to life. I think that's that underneath that is the need. We need to be able to contribute to life. When I'm all worried about me, I can't contribute to life. Therefore, I feel worse. Therefore, I feel more insecure, right? It's a vicious circle. The more that I feel insecure, the more attention's on me, the more I cannot serve life because all my energy's tied up worried about me. And the more that I do that, the worse that I feel, and the more unfulfilled I feel, the less purposeful I feel. And then I feel even worse about myself. So we need to break that cycle and say, hey, let me wake up. Let me quit focusing on myself and going in a circle. Let me focus on another person. What are they feeling? What are they needing? Let me learn about somebody. Let me see what I can learn from them. Let me learn about them. Let me learn from them. And maybe I can even offer a helping hand or a suggestion or something, or a smile, or just a listening ear. Maybe I can help them in some way. So that starts to turn that around, because that gives us a purpose now in making a difference in someone's life, like Mr. Holland did, and it gives us that competence. And the more we do that, the better we get at it, the more feedback we get. Oh, it made a difference. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being there for me. Now I have a purpose. Now I feel good. And so, welcome, Peter. Glad to see you. Welcome, everybody. Glad you're here. And now I feel like a lot of times I'm preaching to the choir. The people are on here are incredible people. And I would like to hear from you. I have more to share, but I would like to hear from you about your stories. When have you taken the attention off yourself? When have you gotten feedback that you made an impact in somebody's life? I'd like to hear that. I know y'all are sitting on stories out there. I know that you have something to contribute to this discussion, so I'd love to hear that. Let us learn from you. Share. Okay, so John Maxwell says these tips. Stop taking yourself too seriously. Start putting the team first. It can apply to sports, coworkers, your team in network marketing, any of that. Put your team first. In other words, do what's right for the team and it will be right for everybody. It doesn't mean ignore your needs, but do what's right for the team and you will be included in what's right for everybody. Think of, what's right for the team first. He says, start adding value to others continually. Continually. There's a challenge. When John Maxwell goes to dinner, he says, what can I bring? What can I add to the meal? Is it a bottle of wine? Is it flowers? Is it something I can bring or something I can do or add to the conversation some ways? How can I add value? So, tips. He said, put others first in your thinking. And when you know other people's values, you can add value to them. Find out what others need by listening or asking, or just wondering and observing. Oh, that person needs a helping hand with the dishes. That person is struggling to close the car door. Let me help. But also asking, what can I do for you today? Marshall Rosenberg, a compassionate communication teacher, used to say to people that he cared about, how can I make more life wonderful for you? Isn't that a lovely question to ask? Lovely. 3, meeting that need with excellence and generosity. Putting yourself into it. Here's some questions that John has, and I'll conclude with these questions here. Questions to ask ourselves. Who am I pouring my life into? If you're a parent, that's easy. If you're a network marketing leader, that's easy, right? Your team and your customers, and perhaps your other friends in the company. Who am I helping that cannot help me in return? That's unconditional helping. That's allowing it to be. Last night I was able to help somebody who needed something late, and they wanted to pay me for it, and I said no, because not accepting payment for it made me feel better than if I accepted payment, and I wanted that good feeling, and I got it. I was on cloud 9 because I got to help somebody. It was inconvenient to me, but they asked for help and I got to help them, and that itself was a payment. So I felt pretty good. Even though I stretched myself and I was tired and stretched myself, I felt good. It was worth it. Had that good feeling. Number 3, who am I lifting who can't help himself? We do want to lift ourselves when we can, don't we? But when somebody's at the end of their rope, that's when it's really, really valuable. I might show a man how to fish, but if he absolutely cannot, then if I step in, And who am I encouraging daily? Daily. If you're a parent, again, that's easy, right? You have a ready-made purpose with you every day. If you're a teacher, that's easy. If you're a network marketing leader, that's easy. But look around. Who can you encourage today, every day? Find a person. Find one person. And see how it makes you feel. Okay, steps to failing forward. And these are 9 steps John gives, and I'll conclude with this today. 1, realize there's a major difference between average people and achieving people. One major difference, he says. One major difference. What would that be? What we talked about. Number 2, learn a new definition of failure. Oh, I'm seeing what he's doing is summarizing the last 9 chapters. So here they are. You may have heard this already from Jeff and Brandy and me earlier in the month here. 1, realize there's one major difference between average and achieving people, and that's overcoming, not letting failure stop them, not identifying with failure. Number 2, learn a new definition of failure. To me, it's learning. Number 3, remove the you from failure. Do not identify with it. Number 4, take action and reduce your fear. Take good action toward your goals. Number 5, change your response to failure by accepting responsibility. That means learning the thing that it came to teach me. Number 6, don't let failure from outside get inside you. Do not identify with it. Do not become it. Number 7, say goodbye to yesterday. Start fresh. was just coaching somebody last night whose memory of yesterday was keeping her from reaching tomorrow. Hanging on to it, comparing, grieving a loss, hanging on to that, kept her from moving forward. A light bulb went off, and I think she's going to do differently going forward. Got to let that go. What heavy baggage that is. Every day's a new canvas. Why not? Why not? Because we can let go of yesterday. Number 8, change yourself and your world changes. Number 9, get over yourself and start giving yourself. So, did you guys get value from this? Do you have a favorite takeaway? Do you have something to add to it? A comment? Do you have a question? Love to hear that below. And love when you share with others, of course, or share in another Facebook group that could be watching this at the same time. Next, tomorrow, Jeff and Brandy will be back, and you can find them on Jeff's page or at the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show Facebook group. Number 10 in this book, number 10 chapter is Grasp the Positive Benefits of Negative Experience. That's tomorrow. Again, the show is brought to you by the MLM Millionaire Academy Generic School for Network Marketers, where we teach how to always get a yes, never get a no, never get objections, how to always get a yes when prospecting, as well as the 10 core commitments that have proven decades to create success inside of network marketing. It's the best school I've ever seen in all of my years of being a network marketer, or the last 10 years of being a generic coach and a curator of the best methods in network marketing. So you're invited to check that out at mlmmillionaireclub.com/basics. I'll put a link below too. We'd love to have you check it out. Love to have you come in and experience a class. And please message me if you have any questions about this or the show today. And we got some comments here. Nancy says, I have helped people and I hope that I've bettered their lives. Those are always a first-time encounter. There are other times, but keep them inside. And Janice, my healing came helping others. My healing came helping others. Good point. That's a great point. And welcome to Gian, who's here as well.